Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Sunday morning. Already looking towards the next week's slate in a massive matchup in the SEC as Tennessee heads on the road to play Alabama. There are two programs that kind of people are ready to sell some stock in after the first couple weeks of this season, and both starting to really put it together. I mean, Alabama impressive after that loss against Texas, and Tennessee picking up a massive one at home against Texas A&M. Really excited to get into some of the key matchups that we'll be seeing in this one. Now, before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys, the support that you guys have shown the boys for all of these game breakdowns. It's been absolutely amazing. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. More importantly, though, let us know in the comments section who you guys are riding with. Appreciate all the support you guys have shown the fellas. Dale, going to kick this one off to you. Tennessee on the road at Alabama. How we feeling here?
Two teams that frankly are kind of going back to some old school football, trying to run the football really hard and play really good defense. And honestly, for Tennessee, that's something like I maybe never would have thought I'd seen. I mean, Josh Heupel is who he is. He is a very good offensive coordinator who wants to air it out. But I mean, credit to him for playing to what he's got. He's done a really good job morphing this offense into what kind of its best form, frankly, with a quarterback who's obviously been struggling. So they've been able to run the football really effectively. They're playing good defense and winning a way that, again, it's not maybe the way Josh Heupel plans on winning going forward forever, but they're doing what they have to do this season and doing a really good job.
And I think you can say that for both offensive coaching staffs right now, is they've had to do things a little bit differently. And you got to give them a lot of credit. There are a lot of coaches across the country, Jimbo Fisher being probably the one that comes to mind, that just wants to run the same kind of offense that they've run throughout their whole career and just not looking at the personnel and what players they have. Both of these offenses are not really used to having the quarterback play that they do have right now. And they're just designing an offense that works for them this year. And you're seeing both of them kind of have a lot of success. Do I want to start with this Bama offense going up against the Tennessee defense that, again, flying around, playing phenomenal football. But for this Bama team, I was really excited. That is about, if you picked Alabama to win a national title or to win the SEC, what you saw in the first half against Arkansas, that's what you wanted. The offensive line leaning on the opposing defensive line, really kind of winning at the point of attack and getting that run game going. If Bama can continue to find that success, that is the best form of this Alabama offense that we'll see all year.
Well, and that's the thing you're kind of like looking for just more consistently, because obviously they've had moments against Ole Miss. I thought they ran the ball very well at times. And against, obviously, Arkansas, they ran the ball pretty much for the full first half.
In that first half, they dominated.
But then you've obviously thrown some games in there like against Texas A&M where you really couldn't do it. I wouldn't say they ran the ball incredibly against Texas either. And that's like the consistency they're looking for. I get it. They have a young offensive line, especially on the left side. So they're talented, they're young, but they got to play a little better game in and game out. And I think it's getting better. I think it's getting there. But they're going to have a really tough task against Tennessee and a chance to, frankly, prove themselves that they can do it and be the offense I think they want to be.
And the reason that run game is so important is not only the personnel, right? Really, really talented offensive line, a dynamic quarterback, good running backs, but it also sets up their passing game. Like, it's no secret what Alabama wants to do in terms of when they throw the football. They want to push the ball down the field. And what really helps that is when you can run the football, make teams have to put safeties in the box and kind of commit to stopping the run. It opens that stuff up, attacking the deeper third, and that's exactly what as much as Jalen Milroe struggles kind of with the short ones, I mean, he throws a beautiful deep ball, and they got wide receivers to do so. You look at the numbers, Dale. Jalen Milroe, top 5 in the country in yards per completion, averaging 16 yards per completed pass. It's no secret that's what Alabama wants to do, and I think that's predicated off them establishing the run early.
Well, and they can't stay on schedule unless they can run the ball because they don't throw very well, frankly, under 20 yards,
No,
it feels like.
Not really. It's getting better. Jalen Milroe is looking better, but it's no secret he throws the deep ball extremely well.
And then, frankly, when they get in bad spots in third and long, their pass pro hasn't really held up either. So there's just an element. They need to be able to run it. They need to be able to play action. Because you look into this matchup, this Tennessee front seven's too good for them to be in third and long. Because I think they've been able to rush the passer really effectively all year. So if Bama can't establish the run against them, and frankly, that's kind of goes through the whole year. And there's teams that they're good enough, Alabama that is, to just like cobble it together. But I think Tennessee is too good for them to have a stinker of a run game and still be
100%. You look at it, that's a nice transition to this Tennessee defense. Alabama, Jalen Milroe getting sacked 16% of his dropbacks. That's 132nd in the country. Really struggling in pass, bro. Jalen Milroe in those obvious passing situations, clearly not comfortable. You look at this Tennessee defense, the front seven, 9.4 sack rate. That's top 15 in the country. Tyler Barron, James Pierce have been absolutely game wreckers coming off the edge. For me, if Alabama can establish the run and stay out of those third and obvious passing situations, you're looking at a Tennessee defense that will take advantage.
And that's been what has been hard to play against, frankly, Tennessee all year is that, yes, they can rush the passer, but they're also really physical and tough up in the middle. Omari Thomas is obviously leading the way, but him combined with Beasley and Herring at the linebacker spot, or really whoever else has been Beasley's running mate.
Beasley's been so good. I mean, that dude is all over the football field, finding the football. And partially what I'm looking at mostly is you look at this Tennessee secondary, 65% completion percentage. That's not eye-popping. That's 98th in the country. Only 5.8 yards per pass. That is top 10 in the country. So, yeah, they'll give you the completions. They do not give up the big play, and that's what Alabama wants to do. So if you're looking at Tennessee, you can stop the run, not give up the big play down the field. If you're a Tennessee Volunteers fan, like you have to be really optimistic about what your defense can do to maybe slow down this Alabama attack and what they want to do on offense.
Yeah, and credit to just Tim Banks and what they've done all year. It's like the way they've transformed this defense. Because again, if you talk about big plays were a huge problem last year. It felt like they were giving up a ton of yards in the air, and yeah, whatever. They give up some completions, but you can just tell, like the eye test tells you this defense is playing tougher. It's playing more physical. They're playing faster. They're just playing a better brand of football. And not even just for this year, but going forward as this Tennessee team ushers in like the Nico era and kind of revamps this offense probably at some point. I think you're just really excited about where they can be because you're seeing the seeds of it right now. The
100%.
way they play defense is just a different brand. It's closer to what like a really good Alabama or LSU.
They have the personnel to do so. Like Josh Heupel getting it going. They don't have to play that bend but don't break, just not give up the big play. Like they can go out and smother, and that's what they've been doing now. Looking at this Tennessee offense, like a couple of things I want to talk about. One, running the football extremely well and a lot. 55% of their snaps are running the football. Wright and Small have been phenomenal. Wright averaging 7 yards per carry. It's going to be tough sledding against Alabama run the football. You're going to need Joe Milton to hit some – you're going to need to have Joe Milton's best performance to win this one on the road. Now, what you're looking at here is you go back to Tennessee's team last year, specifically against a team like Alabama, and why they had so much success was hitting the deep ball, specifically Jalen Hyatt, just getting loose, hitting those explosive plays. Last year, Hendon Hooker had a 70+% completion percentage, averaging 9.5 yards per attempt. You look at Joe Milton, 60% completion percentage, only averaging 6.9 yards per attempt. Tennessee, as much as they can run the football extremely well, really struggling to push the ball down the field. 20-plus yards down the field, Joe Milton's 8 of 35 for 4 interceptions. Like Tennessee's going to need to try to find something like that to win this game against Alabama.
And I will say, like, as much as Joe Milton's going to take a big chunk of the brunt of criticism, the offense, like the receivers ever since Brew McCoy went down, you just can tell they don't have their number one guy, and really they're struggling mightily to get any space and separation downfield, which obviously guys like Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman were very much able to do. So I think there's a lot that they need to kind of try to figure out on the fly right now for this offense and see what works. I don't know. I almost want to see Joe Milton, frankly, running the football more. I feel like he's done a good job with that. I feel like it might help open it up even more for what they're doing elsewhere. Because, again, they're just dropping back and throwing. Like, I don't know what the answer is, mainly because it's tough. I don't know that they have the wide receivers right now this year. And I don't know that Joe Milton's like the guy to run the Heupel offense and play with that timing and that sense of anticipation that, frankly, Hendon Hooker had, and that was wildly underrated, I think, by everybody.
And it's not going to get any easier here, right? You're going on the road to Alabama, a defense that is really turning up. And that front seven, again, going back to why people like myself thought Alabama could win a national title, it was that front seven. And they are starting to play like that kind of front seven. Dallas Turner, 22 quarterback hurries on the year. Braswell, 16. Tim Keenan, 13. The linebackers are extremely downhill and get behind the line of scrimmage. Then you look at the back end. like Kool-Aid McKinstry, we knew he was a dog, but Terrion Arnold, Caleb Downs, Jalen Key, like they're all starting to play extremely well. Tennessee's going to want to run the football here. That might be tough sledding, and it's going to be tough sledding too on a really good secondary in terms of hitting those explosive plays.
And it's just so hard, frankly, to move the ball when you can't be two-dimensional. And just against the good team, frankly, this year, we just haven't seen Tennessee be two-dimensional enough.
Yeah, that's like and kind of getting into the pick here. Tennessee 8.5-point dogs going on the road to Alabama. That's why I'm rocking with Alabama. And I like this Tennessee team a lot. And especially like the bones of what the future could be. Like if you're going to have that good of an offensive line, that talented of a defense, like those were kind of the missing pieces for this Tennessee team and why they were kind of bumping their heads on being special. When I look at this Tennessee team, I don't really trust. And as a Michigan fan, like I've seen all too much of the Joe Milton inconsistencies. Joe Milton going on the road against one of the best, if not the best defense in the country. I can't trust it. I'm taking Alabama to cover the 8.5 points here.
Yeah, and I lean that way too. I feel like this should be probably a little bigger just because, again, I get that, like, and I agree. I like that Tennessee is able to play a little more physically and do some of those things, but there is also that point, like, you still got to be able to do what you're good at. It's like the same thing with Ohio State. They want to show people, oh, we're physical, we're a tough team. But Ohio State's still a team that's built on from those wide receivers out. In Tennessee, frankly, the way Heupel's recruiting in these guys, like, I think they're still part of that. I like that they can run it, but I still think you need to be able to do what you do. And in the way they're playing on offense right now, it does feel like there's not even close to enough from that passing attack.
And it's like going back to why Tennessee won this game last year. They're hitting the explosive plays and kind of making it a track meet. I don't think Joe Milton in this Tennessee offense have proven to me that they can make this track meet and hit those explosive plays. Rocking with Alabama, dude. If Alabama picks up this win, like, watch out, because this Nick Saban coach team, it's got a lot of talent. It's starting to put it together. Excited for this one. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.